For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Hello and welcome everybody. I was originally working on an Arc/Meteor build that fires a lot of meteors at high frequency. The build was actually a lot of fun and very comfortable in Helltide and other easy tasks. But unfortunately, in the end I didn't manage to get it tanky enough to run stable in T100 dungeons and vaults. And also the boss kill speed wasn't really good in the end. Of course, I didn't want to present you a build that does not fit the competition, so I aborted this project. Maybe I'll get back to it at some point. Since everyone is very enthusiastic about the new Blizzard Meteor Mage, which was presented in a YouTube video, I decided to build one too and forget about the guide. It's pointless to just copy things. But when I was working on the build, several ideas came to me, and so I ended up doing a lot of things different in my version. I also added a lot of damage reduction to make it very stable in high dungeons, and thanks to a few tricks I didn't lose any damage. So here I present to you my ultimate tanky Blizzard Meteor Sorc build, which also can kill bosses fast and easy. Let's start with the skill tree. 2 points in Firebolt, which we will use in the enchantment slot. So all enemies we hit burn for 8 seconds, and we benefit from damage and damage reduction against burning enemies. Monsters that start to burn in a rain of ice, that must be real magic. The second enchantment will be the Greater Frozen Orb, which makes enemies vulnerable. And in addition we freeze monsters even faster and more often, because all chill effects stack. Just like Firebolt, we only use the orb in the enchantment slot, not in the skill bar. Then we play Shimmering Flame Shield and Shimmering Teleport, as well as Mystical Frost Nova. That's kinda standard in many builds, I've had these skills in all my builds so far. I also play the Ice Armor. Then we skill Lucky Hit Chance, which will be very useful for us, and the usual defensive passive skills. Protection is particularly worthwhile here, as we're playing with all 4 defensive skills. We take Mage's Blizzard with 1 point, more are not worth because it scales very low, and the high damage will ultimately not come from the Blizzard itself. On the other hand, I have put 5 points into Mage's Meteor, which we will use to set damage peaks. We skill the Deep Freeze ultimate with 1 point, which we only need to use a certain aspect, so we don't put it in the skill bar. We also take the 4 cold passive skills from the last cluster, so we get a lot of extra damage and generate mana on lucky hits. For the key passive, we take Esu's Ferocity, which is also important for an aspect and pushes the meteor damage. Overall, the setting looks like this. Then comes the Paragon System. In the first board Elementalist, just like with my last mages. In the Icefall board I play Exploit. The glyph Reinforced would also do great here, but I've figured out that I'm already tanky enough without it. If you still need more stability, you should keep it in mind. For example, as long as you don't have any good defensive items. Then comes Burning Instinct with Destruction, and Enchantment Master with the glyph Control. Then Frigid Fate with Stalagmite, here I also included the node with Lucky Strike Chance. Finally, the last board I play is Searing Heat with the glyph Adept. This gives Blizzard and Meteor a much larger area. The Seneschal Construct has the Stone Flash of Adrenaline with Duration, Initiative and Tactical support, and Tempest with Efficiency, Resource and Breaking. However, I haven't tested much here either, you could also try other settings. Now the equipment. On the head we wear the new Meteor helmet, which practically also gives a fat bunch of lucky hit chance. Then I'm wearing a defensive chest with the new Juggernaut aspect. Together with the affix for total armor, this can already give enough armor value. However, the bonus from the aspect is not displayed while in town. I have some gloves with attack speed, lucky hit and crit chance. Here I play the aspect for which we have skilled the ultimate. The ice spikes have 50% more radius. This works without using the skill. T-Ball's will is great, so we can refill our mana by flame shield and teleport, and also get a big damage boost. Of course it would be cool if we also had the aspect for ice armor making us unstoppable, but I didn't have any slot for that in the end. Since the build actually works without the Meteor and thus without the unique helmet, you could also build a pure Blizzard variant that plays the snow-veiled aspect on the helmet slot. Let's continue with the shoes. Here I play Asus to raise the crit chance. Cost reduction and movement speed are of course also quite nice. On the weapon, intelligence, crit damage, damage to vulnerable and close enemies are best, and all stats can be useful for the Paragon system. This is where I put the aspect of the Ancient Flame. As far as I can see, the speed bonus also works for our damage ticks in the end. On the focus is a very important aspect. It creates ice spikes when casting Blizzard. They will have a major part in our damage output. Here we want to have the affixes cooldown reduction and resource generation, as well as critical strike and lucky hit chance. Then comes X-Fall, which is very strong here because the unique mod triggers millions of burst damage at the end. X-Fall also has lucky hit chance and cooldown reduction, so it's really nice for this build. I also play Ring of Starless Skies, which lowers my mana costs for Blizzard enormously, so I don't need any further cost reduction. Otherwise, the Talrasha ring is also very good and even gives a bit more damage. When using it, some more cost reduction on amulet and focus won't hurt. I have 4 damage reduction affixes on my amulet and also an aspect that gives some massive damage reduction. In the end, we'll be standing in the Blizzard almost permanently because we can cast them all over the area. In the sideboard I have some switch gear so I can pimp the damage for boss runs like Duriel. I then play the glacial aspect on the amulet to get out more base damage from the spikes, and also change the focus to include the Stormswell aspect. You can additionally use Fists of Fate. I can get the player's 1 Duriel down so quickly that he has no time to dig himself. Here you can see my stats. I got a very high lucky hit chance and the damage reduction is not bad either, especially when I'm in a Blizzard. I wish you a lot of fun with this build. Take care and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Thank you. Goodbye.